myth, the legend, the man that has been there from the beginning. Duntov, how are you, sir?
Hey, Booney. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Thanks for coming back again, man. Listen, you started this whole thing back in May 2025. Your first episode was there.
Yep.
I mean, and you did the same thing for Allegiant.
Yeah, Legion I started well, I guess a little later, but you couldn't as much because they were building underground for a while, like basement area.
I'm going to play a video for you, and I want to get your thoughts once the video completes. What a ride. I mean, so groundbreaking was officially last June. So we're not quite at a year yet. We're at about 10 months. What's your thoughts when you see that, when all the progress since your very, very first episode, all the way till now?
It seems like that was a lot longer than it has been.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, so not even a year since groundbreaking. They're supposed to be starting to put up the roof structure in June. So it's just amazing seeing how much it's changed just since that time.
What's more amazing is how consistent you've been about it.
Just in a week's time, it changes so much from them setting up all the shoring and the new decking, and, you know, they're just flying with it.
Has there been any people you've met out there from the site that you've gotten a chance to talk to with regard to the project?
You mean like workers?
Yeah, workers, anybody involved in it, anybody with any type of inside information rather than your casual viewer, I guess.
I will like run across some of the crew, like when they're like going on break or leaving for the day. Really allowed to say a lot, but you know, they'll give me a little heads up. Like last week I saw a couple guys and they were on the concrete crew and they let me know they were going to be pouring on Friday. You know,
okay.
So I make sure I get out there somehow to show that, because we're not going to see that much anymore. With, you know, most of the concrete work is about done now. So, you know, now it's going to be all the iron work and putting the steel up on them upper levels, which is, that's always pretty cool watching them.
I bet.
You know, crazy watching them just walking across them beams. And, you know, they got their safety gear, but you're still not getting me up there.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, me and you both. You got a chance to see that all at Allegiant as well, right?
Correct. That was crazy over there because those were some really big. little pieces they were lifting up.
Oh, I
But
bet.
I'm expecting this also. You know, if you look at my newest videos, they're putting all the shoring in the infield area. That's going to help hold up the roof structure until it's all put together.
I would like to share one of your videos up, and if you can just walk us through a couple different parts of it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, this is a new crane they brought on site. They had the yellow. These are crawler cranes. You know, they have the tracks like the tanks where they can move them around.
Okay.
So they just brought this one on site this morning. This was, I think, on last Monday. And I thought it was because they are bringing one of the biggest cranes in the United States on site. When I saw this on the ballpark cam, I thought that this was the one that was getting delivered, but it ended up being the same size as the one they just took out the week before, the yellow one. But I'm still assuming they're going to use this to help with putting the steel structure up on that. That would be the southeast side of the stadium.
What's going on here? What are these guys doing?
All right, so that stuff that's stacked there, that's that like silver stuff. That was some of the shoring that is holding up. That was holding up that level before the concrete got
right
poured.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, right next to where the guy
Workers.
in the yellow is. So they're taking that all apart. You see how you could see through the open into the infield. So this was all looked like the scaffolding stuff they call shoring. That's
Okay.
what's the deck until the concrete was cured. So that's all coming out, you know. So it's turning into a real stadium now.
I always like your distance photos when you zoom out and you could kind of see exactly. I mean, this to me is just like when you take it back from May of 2025 and you took it present day, and just to see just the mass that's been built.
Right. It's giant how
Look at
quick
that.
it's moving. And then, so the still should be swinging around now to this side of the stadium. It looks like they're gonna, you know, if you look right there, you have the crane. There's that light gray stuff on the
Right
left
here,
side there.
Yep.
So that was actually part of the roof. So
that was actually part. So let me go back to that part right there. Right here.
Right there. So you got like this utility truck, the white truck, and then behind it, that is
they're part of the roof.
Yes, they're building
back
the roof
there.
structure.
Okay.
Yep. So they've been putting it together, a little here and there, you know, making it bigger, and so they'll be able to lift up. What pretty sure they're gonna have to wait for the bigger crane.
Sure.
Pick up that big piece, and it'll set, you know, on all the steel that's already.
So that big white piece looks like our frame is part of the roof. Interesting.
Yes, and then what I was told about the steel going in, if it is like that white or light gray, that means it's going to be seen when it's in the stadium by us. Like it won't be covered up anywhere. The raw looking steel, that, you know, kind of the rust colored one, that will be covered up.
Okay.
Either painted or, you know, covered behind something.
Now, do you stand usually at the same spot every single time when you're filming, or you kind of move around a little bit?
All right. What these shots here, this is from the Oyo Hotel deck. But as you can see now, it's getting harder and harder to see what's going on. But now that it's coming up above the construction walls, I do have a different camera with my really good zoom. So I will be, you know, pretty much I'll be able to stand anywhere around the perimeter of the site and see all the steel going in.
This is a perfect photo right here. Now, what part of the stadium would this be considered right here?
All right, so it's kind of like where you got on the right, you got that crane that's sticking up in the.
Yep.
That would be like the northeast, not really a corner, but the northeast side of the ballpark.
Okay.
And then, you know, where you got the red crane where you could see the Mandalay Bay in the
background.
the
left of the vision. Yep, right in front of the
so the
Mandalay.
red crane, that is pretty much the south end of the stadium.
Okay.
You know, so home plate is actually on that side, the side where the red crane is. That's
where home plate is, huh?
Home plate will be on that side, and then you'll be looking north towards the strip, out the back glass wall of the outfield.
What are they working? 16 hours a day?
No, I think they're coming in early though. They're there pretty early because it has been getting hot already out here. We were close to
I
100
bet.
a few weeks ago.
I'm sure.
But I think they're doing 8 or 10-hour shifts. I haven't heard of. Well, maybe with different crews they might be, because usually I come after work, so I'm here about 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I don't really see what's going on after that, unless I check the ballpark cam, which I recommend checking out. It's pretty
cool.
Pretty
Huh?
good view, yeah.
It's on track to actually be done early, but what's ever really being done early in construction?
I heard that it should be done by like January of 28. So
January 28.
That's what I heard. So they got, a few months before,
to do the checks and
the baseball season. So, and the way it's looking, I don't doubt that they won't keep that schedule.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they have to do anything extra as far as time or anything to that situation as far as extra shifts. So it seems well ahead to get done and etc.
Well, and you got to look, Vegas, we got, I think it's 320 days of sun. So we don't have to worry about weather like some of these other cities do. The harsh winters or the rainy season. And, over here, they pretty much could work around the clock.
Compare this to Allegiant. What's your feelings between now and Allegiant, or just, I guess, more of the overall excitement or feel? Is it the same? Is it different?
I would say, it's every time you go out there and see something new getting done. Yeah. So this one seems a little, just with all the concrete work that we're seeing, it is different, because Allegiant seemed like it was more just all steel work.
Okay.
It's mainly all steel skeleton, where they did all this, watching them pouring this concrete, stuff like that. So it's looking good.
They said the roof is in June.
Yep. They're going to start putting us all like that big structure you saw on the ground there. That's
right here.
Yep.
Right there.
So all that stuff should start getting lifted up by June. The rate they're moving, it looks like it could even be sooner.
Amazing.
Those are weights. Those are the counterweights for the crane to keep it from tipping over, when it's lifting up a heavy load. That's what they're setting up on that right now, on that flatbed. And they must be heavy, because that big semi only got 2 of them spaced out there. Those are probably 10,000 pounds each.
But for Vegas, this is like a Wednesday. It's
it's
another project. It's not like this is their first big project. I mean, the big thing with the Bay Area, all the negative energy you hear to this project, it's not going to get done. It's this and this. In my head, I'm like, this is Vegas. This is not their first rodeo.
You still hear all that out there?
Oh yeah, it's still there. I mean,
Really?
the financing, this, that, it's all, come on. It's still there, believe it or not. Less and less, not as much, but it's still there. It's still there. Amazingly still there.
I mean, I do get on some of my comments and some of the videos, I still do get people that aren't happy about it. Still talking about Fisher's not going to go through with it and stuff. And no, I went to the Ballpark Experience Center and got to check that out. And then it was, pretty amazing. And then, so I did show a little, and I put the video of like, they have the model there and stuff. And, you see it there. It makes it look, it's real. When you see all this stuff, it's real.
Yeah. The latest we heard on the financing was Fisher spent $300 million of his own dollars to put into it. And the reason was, for those that don't know, is when somebody is affluent as Fisher or at that level, they have so many avenues or resources to gain money. In this particular project, he has a securities back line of credit he can draw against his holdings, whether it's stock from Gap or other type of stock. He has the construction loan, which is $300 million. And those right now are the only ones we know of. And of course, the money from Clark County. But the reason he used his own money in that situation is drawing from the S block is a cheaper interest rate one that the banks are charging as far as the construction loan. Construction loans are running about 7.5%, 8%. The S block's probably around 5%. So it's just a big game for them as far as, hey, what pile of money am I going to choose in order to fund it, which will cost the business the least amount of money? It's the same thing. Whether you're running a lemonade stand or building a ballpark, it still has to do with revenue and
they're not billionaires by being stupid. They know what they're doing. They got their people, it's just all not a game to them, but it's all, they know what they're doing.
It's not a game. No, it's not. Yeah. It's the same thing. They just play with bigger numbers than a lot of us. But wow. Any interesting stories through the year you've been out there as far as people you've run into, or has it been or people maybe running you off the site, or has it been pretty normal from encounter from week to week?
Most of the people I run into, love everything. I do occasionally, I'll be out there filming and where the entrance is on the backside on off of Reno Avenue. I'll be filming there. You're on the side entrance and that's a really good view. And I've had a few times where the people working at the gate will tell me I can't be recording there.
Okay.
But besides that, a lot of the other crew that I've met, they all love watching they'll say, "Oh, I saw myself on your video last week," or, and they enjoy it because they show their fan. A lot of them say it's hard for them to explain what they do, so
sure,
they like the video, because they're not allowed to record anything. They could get fired if they're caught in there recording.
Yeah.
So, they shared with their families and friends, and they could see them at work. And how hard they're all working. It's crazy, what they're orchestrated it is in there. That's pretty good flow when they're all working in sync like they do.
Now, for people that don't understand the location, is Allegiant in walking distance?
It's probably about within a mile.
Within a mile. So probably a half-hour walk, 20-30-minute walk?
Yeah. Because if you see my videos, or even the ones you were just showing in the background, you could see the Luxor and the Mandalay Bay in the background.
Okay.
There is a road that goes right. It turns into Hacienda.
Okay.
And that will take you right over the freeway, right to Allegiant Stadium.
Wow.
So it's close. And then you got T-Mobile even closer. That's right behind New York. That's in the background a lot. If you go between New York and Park MGM, T-Mobile's right back there.
Have you heard any rumblings out there of when they plan on scheduling games? I've heard several things like a midday week game, which would normally be at like 6:45, 7. I've heard rumblings around 4:00. Have you heard anything like that, or is it still? I haven't
heard anything. I did attend. I went with somebody. We went to see the VIP tickets. I went to the presentation, and they didn't really give us any times about, game times. But 81 games, they're going to have to space them out somehow because,
yeah, sure.
You would think the weekends would probably be, I don't know, maybe like the Friday night game.
Yep.
And then Sunday, I would think Saturday and Sundays might be a little bit better.
Sure.
But
sure.
Yeah, but I haven't heard anything official.
Yeah. And what was that experience center like? I heard they take you in a room and you could basically see where you would be sitting. It's a pretty cool atmosphere, I understand.
It was really cool. So first thing when you go in, of course, they show you the mini stadium. Well, they show you the elephant. Did you ever see they have the giant elephants in there?
I've seen it on obviously TV. I haven't been there, no.
The one that was in there, it does have a name. It's based on a real elephant, but I forget what her name was.
Okay.
So you got the elephant, and then they show you the mini stadium, and then they take you to, I'm sure you saw online, they have the room with all the different bats.
Yes.
So each bat, it'll be different players, in the athletics history, or it'll be just different, like special times, special things that happen during the thing. So you just pick out the bat, and it has a sensor in it. You touch home, and it plays you the highlights for whatever bat you grab. All right, and then after that, they take you. You get to walk past their World Series trophies. They have, and they said they were the original ones there.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so they had those there, and then they take you to the cube. So the cube is, I think it was a 270-degree room. The ceiling, floor, walls, they're all basically video screen. And you have to take your shoes off. They give you booties to put on, and they take you in there. So we were looking at I think it's called the athletic section, and then the diamond section. The athletic section was the super VIP, right behind home plate. I think the first 6 rows. So you see the video, or the view is exactly what you would see, of home plate, of the whole stadium. And then the diamond section was row 7 or 15. And then they take you into their exclusive clubs that are included with the price of those tickets.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Now, do they know what you do?
I gave him my card. I told him if he could get me in so I could do like a video in there or do stuff. He took it. I haven't been called, but,
I get it. Now, when you were in that visual center and seeing where things were you kind of imagine it must be like second nature for you as far as, hey, where is that as far as filming and so forth, and kind of picture it. Yeah, right?
Yeah, you could actually, it puts everything in the perspective of what I've been looking at.
Sure.
And seeing it. So, yeah, that's really cool.
It's just amazing. When I was putting together those photos and looking at it, I mean, back in May, just nothing, and they're just grounding it all the way to the end, and what's kind of constructed and how it's kind of taken its shape. I've never really looked at a stadium from beginning to end and seeing how the whole thing's being constructed. You just kind of see it starts, you have groundbreaking, you go along with your life, and then at the end, you see the end product. Even in San Francisco, when they did Chase Center and Pac Bell back in the day, I didn't pay much attention to it. But this one, I've really paid close attention. It's just amazing how they get it done.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Even, I've lived in Vegas. This will be 36 years now.
Wow.
And I was here for most of these mega resorts that were built. I drive past them once in a while going to work, but back then we didn't have the cell phones with the camera or the video. So the Luxor, I used to work at Excalibur. So when they were building Luxor, I snapped a few pictures here and there that I do have, which are pretty cool seeing. But, I wish I would have done all that, because it just goes by, these couple years go quick. And it's like, oh, remember when they were building that? And so there's not a lot out there to see before. So, and I think that's why people like to watch my videos.
Sure.
I don't, I'm not a construction expert. I just say what I'm seeing, and I don't even know what I'm looking at sometimes. But I think a lot of people just enjoy seeing it get built, even if they're not an athletics fan.
Right. Just the whole
process. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Duntov, thank you so much for coming on, man. And I hope to have you on soon as it is progressing, and get the next update, man.
Yeah, anytime. Let me know.
Appreciate you, brother. You take care, man.
You too. Thanks.